Sending links, trying to get up. Rapping if it's beef, I hit a brinks. I prepared to make a lot of blink. Now think, wouldn't you rather keep it music than to lose it all cause of music? I'm sure that's not how Bambaataa wanted us to use it. Now move it before I lose it. And I'm in it for the long haul. Bars, like lifers in a long haul. Bar, my life rocking mics, I raised the bar. Phased them, dazed them, and blazed them all. Scar, come on with it. Me and you getting it on 30.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson, welcoming you to the NBA on 2K Sports. Excited. I'm so lucky. Tonight, it's for Atlanta, only one win in their last 6 games. They know they can play much better, looking to be more competitive tonight. And the topic here, prior to tip-off, so many teams in the league going up-tempo these days. Kenny, as a player, did you like that style? I'm assuming you had to love it.
Because the one thing about playing up-tempo, Ernie, it brings you back to the roots of the game, why you started playing. If you ever go to a pickup game, you ever go to a park game, no one's stopping play and calling plays. They're going up.
It's the land of mission control, Houston, Texas, where the Rockets are ready to engage in an interconference showdown. Thanks for joining us as we get set to bring you NBA basketball on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. You look at the Hawks. They've lost their last 3 games, and guys, they like that streak to end tonight here.
And right now for the Hawks, the position they're in would be considered a success for most teams. But let's face it, they're not most teams. For them, any place other than first is a disappointment.
But you know what? They're still very close to that top spot in the standings right now.
Looking at the starting 5 for the Atlanta Hawks. Teague and Korver are the guards. Millsap at power forward with Horford at the center. And it's Bazemore at the 3. 6 to shoot. Ariza passes to Harden. And count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw line.
Listen, James Harden, clearly the front runner for the best shooting guard in the NBA, arguably in the conversation for the best player in our league. And listen, he's a league leader in scoring a season ago. He's a one-man wrecking crew offensively.
Teague kicks to Millsap. Can't get it to go. Great D that time from Howard. For Atlanta, they come in off the loss to Golden State.
And really, had they just shot their average from the free throw line in that game, I think that probably changes the outcome.
No doubt. I mean, because there is a carryover effect when you're not having success at the line.
Atlanta with the ball. Bazemore dishes to Horford. Stolen by Harden. Here's Ariza, and that one is stuck right through.
That was some slick passing from Harden on that one.
Houston on D, fresh from a win against Portland.
And they ran their offense nearly to perfection. Sessions were wasted.
Yeah, they put the mute button on them that time. I mean, in front of a hostile crowd, they never let the fans get going. They silenced them over and over again with big, timely shots.
It's good, the assist that time from Smith. Harden's got 5 points so far.
I tell you what, guys, it's going to be a tough day on this defense if he's got the A game rolling tonight.
And Bazemore kicks to Korver. Looking to end the run. Korver missing again.
Not really sure what he was thinking about on that shot. That is not high IQ basketball.
Not at all. I mean, he shouldn't even have considered taking that shot. Just a poor choice there.
Now, here is Smith. He averages a bit over 6 points a game. 6 on the shot clock. Beverly against Teague. The offensive rebound. Back to Howard. Kicks it to Beverly. It's Ariza on the wing. With the clock winding down, goes up high for the two-handed dunk.
Taking it to the rack with power right there.
And hammering down with the two-handed slam.
Just piling on the lead with the dunk like that.
Here's Bazemore. They look to him for part of their offensive attack. Right now, he averages nearly 12 points a game.
And they're 1 of 5 to start this game. Just really haven't gotten into a flow offensively.
Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time getting the lid off the basket so far.
Millsap passes to Korver. And a kind roll that time off the rim as that one falls. Korver's got 5 now.
Well, I tell you, last season was a big one for the Hawks and Coach Budenholzer. Their dominant season won him multiple Coach of the Month titles, and eventually he won the Coach of the Year award.
That is good. And that's now 7 points for James Harden.
Really not hard to see why they're giving up points on this run. I mean, they've just given them too many looks inside.
Yeah, and usually when a team goes on a run like this, it's because they are getting too many opportunities on the inside. Make them beat you from deep.
Houston making some changes. Terrence Jones is checked in for Smith. Brewer comes in for Trevor Ariza. And it's Lawson in for Patrick Beverly. Atlanta also making some changes here. Thabo Sefolosha is checked in for Kent Bazemore. And Dennis Schroeder subbed in for Jeff Teague. It was pretty obvious, I thought, Greg, that Budenholzer was the deserved Coach of the Year. I mean, Steve Kerr, there are a lot of good names you could put in there. But what he's done taking the Hawks to the top of the East, few saw that coming.
I agree with you. I mean, he has transformed this Hawks team over the past couple of years, has a wonderful team game. You know, obviously a lot of influence coming from Pop when he was with San Antonio, but he is really, I think, redefining how the game of basketball is being played at the pro level.
Houston making a switch here. Capella's checked in. Then for the Hawks, Muscala, he's checked in for Horford. Mike Scott comes in for Paul Millsap. Hardaway is subbed in for Kyle Korver. Here's Capella. And looking at his production, he averages a little more than 7 points a game. 1:44 left here in the opening quarter. Nice ball movement here by Atlanta. Here's Hardaway. Hangs in midair and converts on the double clutch layup. Hardaway has got his first bucket of the night. Harden against Hardaway. Harden, no good. The Hawks trail by 6. Good.
No issues on that one. Good work all around.
The Rockets have gone 5 of 9 from the field here in the first. Lawson drives in. The shot misses. Good D by Hardaway. Here's Schroeder. Pass to Sefolosha. And the call will be against Ty Lawson. That's his first foul. Jason Terry. He's checked in for James Harden.
Jason Terry.
50 seconds left here in the first quarter. Lets it go from 14. And the shot no good, a bit short. Rockets leading by 4. Out of bounds, Atlanta will take possession.
Man, I don't know what happened right there. He just basically walked out of bounds.
Now here's Schroeder. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Hardaway kicks it over to Schroeder. No good with the triple. And for Houston, they're shooting well right out of the gates here at around 50%. Here's Sefolosha, and you can count it. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it 3.
How about battling through the impact there and then willing that basketball in?
Boy, it does your heart good to see that kind of determination in a player. Really excellent focus that time.
And that one's good.
You know, they've scored several times already here in the first quarter down low. I like that.
It's like a running game in football. When you can pound the basketball inside, it also allows you to control the team's transition.
Out of bounds, Houston takes possession.
That is just a careless turnover. You've got to be smarter in those exchanges.
And the Rockets with possession here.
They ran that inbounds play perfectly there to get the quick hitter.
It could go. That misses. Would have counted had it gone in. And that concludes the first quarter of play. Rockets lead by 5. And the second quarter. Let's take a moment to hear a little bit from Josh Smith about his development throughout his NBA career.
You know, coming in at 18.
Kind of hear that growth in his voice, don't you think? And it's interesting to hear Josh Smith talking about getting introspective about himself and his game at this point of his career.
You know, that's a great point there, Kevin. I mean, like he says, he really has grown tremendously as a player, as a teammate, as a man, and just as an adult person in society. And he's become a real credit to our game.
And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And when you consider how the Rockets are doing, guys, what are your thoughts?
It's all about their defense. They have just done a terrific job of negating the timing and spacing of their opponent.
Every shot is challenged and challenged well.
This is how the floor looks for the Hawks starting the second quarter. Millsap at power forward with Horford at the center. Teague and Korver are the guards. And it's Cephalosha in at the 3 spot. The Hawks trail by 3. And continuing to expand his arsenal last season, Patrick Beverley, the guard for the Rockets. Career highs in assists and rebounds per game, and he's one of the smallest guys on the floor.
Yeah, and he's really working on the details of becoming a better playmaker, becoming a guy that has coaches trust him to handle the basketball in those crucial situations.
Atlanta is shooting around 40% from the floor here. Beverley against Teague. Right side Korver. Back to Horford. Shot clock at 5. Millsap kicks to Horford. The Rockets pull it in.
You know, talking about Beverley, his wrist injury really changed things for the Rockets at the end of last season. Suddenly, 37-year-old Jason Terry had to take on big minutes at the point, and he was serviceable, but they missed Beverley's toughness on defense particularly.
And Houston calls their first time out of the game.
And going back to the one thing with Patrick Beverley, his shot could still be more consistent. Last year, he was down in shooting averages across the board, including just 38% from the field. It makes it very difficult on your offense when you have an inability to space the floor.
Looking at who's out there now for the Rockets. Trevor Ariza's checked in for Brewer. And it's Harden in for Jason Terry. And stolen by Howard. And here comes Harden, leading the fast break. The shot is off. Great D that time from Teague. The Hawks trail by 5. They really want to find that igniter here.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin, the offense has basically been running in place.
They got to get going. Well, you just watched Jeff Teague. He's a natural scorer. Clark, he's also made steady improvement as a playmaker.
Yeah, you look at his assist rate, Kevin, well in the top 10 in the league. He's cut down on his turnovers as well. You can tell he's starting to really figure it out, and the game is slowing down for him.
Now, here's Beverley. 14 points from him the last game against Portland.
And don't forget about his work on the glass. I mean, he contributed in a number of ways.
Oh, and a fast break for Atlanta. And the slam dunk by Bazemore.
Almost intimidating the defense there. They didn't even try to get back on defense.
Well, I don't think it would have mattered even if they did try to get back, Greg. I mean, there was no way anybody was going to beat him to the bucket there.
Millsap against Smith. And stolen by Howard. And here we go. Harden heading to the...
Yeah, how about the sharp steal and then run out? It looks like they're ready to put the hammer down.
Well, we've been waiting for one of these teams, Greg, to pull away. Maybe that'll be a springboard for them.
Could be. A dunk like that coming off a great defensive play has to build some momentum.
And the highlight reel replay brought to you by Kia. Good stuff on that Kia Slam Cam. And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for Houston.
They've come out in attack mode on the defensive end. They've applied pressure and forcing turnovers.
Another big aspect of their game tonight has been the fast break, transition opportunities. They're really keeping it up tempo so far.
Clock is at 3. And they turn over the 24-second buzzer, signaling the shot clock violation.
And a moment now to check out the numbers for Millsap. He's been a factor for them over the last month. He's around 14 points per game, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. With him, you get so much, but his ability to lead the way with his scoring, probably his best attribute.
An offensive powerhouse. He can just beat you in so many ways. Got to give it up for him. Much love.
And Atlanta will go for a different look here. Muscala, he's checked in for Horford. Mike Scott comes in for Paul Millsap. Hardaway's checked in for Kyle Korver. And Dennis Schroeder subbed in for T. Harden's shot is off.
Those are chances almost always you can rely on him to get you 2 points, but the D, just enough to keep him out of rhythm.
Here's Muscala. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. Now the dish to Schroeder. The Hawks need to get off a shot here. And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot 2. And Mike Scott, a former second-round draft pick who has carved out a role here in the NBA the last 2 seasons, Clark. He was a major contributor off the bench.
Yeah, he's a bit of a tweener, not big enough to maintain position down low on a consistent basis and not quick enough to really be a 3-man or small forward, but what he can do is get to the basket, rebound okay, and knock down the deep shot.
Now here's Lawson. Scott pulls it in.
I still can't believe that one didn't fall.
Stops, pops. Here's Bazemore, and Jones sends it down. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Hawks will retain possession. Here's Schroeder. He had an 18-point outing in the last game against Golden State. And Muscala to Bazemore. Atlanta again missing.
And getting back to Mike Scott, his three-point percentage and attempts have increased each year he's been in the league. With a high, quick release, he's capable of making tough shots with a hand in his face in a way other players simply can't. And that's foul number 2. And maybe you don't sit him at this point, but you really have to be careful to not pick up another before half.
Houston making some changes. Brewer comes in for Trevor Ariza. And it's Terry in for James Harden. And a switch here also for Atlanta. Cephalosha's checked in.
Guys, we were talking about Scott shooting from downtown, but he can also score from mid-range, pick and pop off the dribble. He's able to square his shoulders. He's deadly. I mean, he's a versatile big guy with a nice shooting touch.
The Hawks trail by 7. Here's Schroeder. Soft touch off the glass. Schroeder's got his second bucket of the game to go.
How about the way he's able to angle his body to shield the big fella off and still get the finish?
You've got to be clever with your sleight of hand when you get inside and try to finish against the bigger guys. And he made it look easy that time.
Now here's Schroeder. And they get some nice contributions from him on a nightly basis as he averages over 11 points a game. The shot is off. So Houston will take it the other way. Last time they faced off, it was right here at home where they couldn't get it done.
Yeah, and their last time out against this club, turnovers really did them in. Just way too many mistakes.
Yeah, sloppy play sabotaged them. I mean, they'll have to be much more focused this time around.
Down to 5 on the shot clock. And there's the foul on the shot. He'll go to the line for 2. The Rockets shooting their 4th and 5th attempts at the free throw line tonight.
And thus far, really not their year when you talk about free throw shooting. Only around a 70% clip on the season.
And guys, that allows their opponents to play very aggressive defense if they choose to, knowing it's not a bad thing to send them to the foul line.
So 1 for 2 that time at the stripe. Stolen by Terry. And it's Houston on the break. Lawson with the ball.
Well, they weren't going to pass up that chance to get out and run following the steal.
They better not. I mean, they've got to pad their lead anytime an opportunity presents itself, and that was a golden one.
That'll do it for the first half. Rockets ahead. They're up by 8. And now let's catch up with Doris Burke, who's standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Josh, you guys seemed intent on getting this win tonight. How important a game was this to this team?
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here again with Kenny Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. We welcome you back to the 2. James Harden was the man saw from the Rockets.
Well, in terms of running a smooth, efficient offense, they've been as good as it gets. The looks they've created have been high percentage. The ball is moving, guys are rotating. That's what got them those good looks, Ernie. And this is the reason they got that night.
Well, look, they turn the ball over way too much. You can't do that in the NBA. Teams are just too talented. You can't give them that many possessions. Don't give away the entire game just by giving up with more precision in the second half.
And that'll do it for now as the second half of our game is about to get underway. Kevin Harlan has the call.
And the third quarter about ready to get underway.
They just haven't been able to contain Harden. He's got 11 points, and he's added a steal to his stat line also.
You know what? The number is not huge, but he has been doing some valuable defensive work for them.
Our second half of basketball, and presented by Gatorade. Let's see who's all fueled up and on the floor to start the third. Taking a look at the Rockets. Smith at the power forward with Howard at the center. Harden and Ariza filling out the perimeter, and it's Beverly in at the one spot.
Rockets ball.
Harden outside. Rejected by Millsap. Here's Bazemore. James Harden with the rebound.
And you saw how quick the defense was. They were ready for him. They got the hand in the face there. It made that much more difficult.
Yeah, and every team needs that kind of rugged interior defense because you want to try to distract your opponents when they get inside, and you also want to make them uncomfortable in their shot attempts.
But they get it back. Leaves the dishes to Harden. Feeds to Howard. Back to Harden. Shoots over Korver. James Harden again. And it's a 12-point Rocket lead.
And after his last game, really not surprised to see him as hot as he is here tonight.
And for Trevor Ariza, almost exclusively a perimeter player on the offense last year. New scheme, Greg, new teammates, big adjustment.
Yeah, the Rockets having Dwight Howard camping out in the lane and James Harden needing space for dribble drives. Not much room to operate inside for Ariza.
But they do like his defense, and we know he can hit the three. It's a pretty valuable commodity for him. Here's Millsap. James Harden picking up that last basket. Over a minute and a half into the third quarter of action. Ariza outside. The shot will not go. And Atlanta will come the other way.
You know, you talk about Trevor Ariza last season. I mean, his field goal percentage dipped to fourth, mostly because he only took threes, or so it appeared. It's hard to be efficient if you're only shooting threes.
And guys, when you think about Trevor Ariza, he was signed by Houston last year to play defense. And did he deliver on that end? He was usually matched up against the opponent's best wing scorer, and he had the highest steals average of his career, almost 2 a game. Add to that, he is a knockdown shooter from beyond the arc.
That doesn't go either for Ariza. The Hawks trail by 10.
4 from the field since halftime. They're having a tough time getting it going here.
Well, you know, they're in the lead, but he's still been frustrated from an offensive standpoint.
And the foul called on Paul Millsap. That's his first foul. To the paint. Millsap with the steal.
And great job preventing that ball from coming into the post. Might have been an easy 2 if the defense was.
Just by Dwight Howard. Smith's got the lead up to 12 now for the Rockets.
They're finding lanes to the hoop now with consistency. 5 buckets in a row from the paint.
And on the flip side, Greg, the defenders have to show more fight on the interior. They've got to offer more resistance here.
And you can tell he's hungry because that's how you eat away at a lead right there. Make some highlight reel plays and shake that defense up.
Well, Greg, you're right. Not all 2 points are the same. Not when they come on a stuff like that one.
Well, I like the craftiness in his game. I mean, he can distribute or he can attack the basket, just like we saw right there.
And the Rockets have lost out on some free agent wars the past few years. They have remained competitive, but you wonder what could have been if they landed or kept some of those big names.
The Hawks trail by 14. Teague with the ball. He's picked up by Ariza. Here's Horford. And he finishes it off with a one-handed jam.
And he just leaves the D in the dust and explodes to the basket.
You're right. Clark, maybe a momentum changer right there, huh?
It could be, Kevin. I mean, a dunk like that can sometimes get an opponent reeling.
Hard to get that one off with the size difference there. That makes it a tough individual matchup for him, especially down low.
Well, took on the big guys going in there and challenging them like he did. But, boy, that was a nice job.
The defense there got away with a major lapse.
Teague drives in. Millsap misses.
You almost have to assume he's going to knock those down when he is that open.
Howard kicks to Beverly. Houston moving it around. From deep, Harden, and the shot is good. Harden's got 13 points here in the second half alone.
Wow, unconscious has he been this quarter. They're riding that hot hand.
Atlanta calls timeout.
And guys, Patrick Beverly, a perfect fit for the Rockets alongside James Harden. Now, you know, Beverly is in that complementary role as a 3 and D guy. And remember, also, even though he's the point guard, he doesn't need the ball to be effective. He's good at just spotting up for threes, and he's a hounding on-ball defender.
Tell you what, Kevin, they'd love to see him get a lot more of those opportunities.
Clark, that deficit will go away quickly if he does.
And how about how he capped that one out, almost like the 1-2 punch.
Now Hardaway following the miss by Terry from deep.
Just a terrific effort on the offensive glass. That's how they're going to cut into this lead.
And Greg, a dunk like that is sure to give them a spark.
Which is a spark they desperately need, Kevin. They've got to ramp up the intensity.
Outside for Lawson. Back to Jones. No good. Nice D from Scott. And Beverly plucked out of Europe by the Rockets. Clark, he signed a new contract this past offseason.
And a nice value for the Rockets, Kevin. I mean, he's a player whose impact on the game really transcends the stat sheet. That's often the case for those guys that are all defense caliber players.
5 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. And the shot is good. And the Rockets lead by 13.
Well, if you're going to give them layups, there's no way you're going to get back in this game.
Left side, Scott. Outside, Hardaway. Offensive rebound. Here's Muscala. Good D by Jones.
And he thought he had a clear path to the hoop, but the defense didn't give up on that play and cut him off.
Well, through 3 quarters of play, down double. And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the fourth. Houston leading by 13. Fourth quarter on the court for the Hawks. Kent Bazemore is out there with Paul Millsap. Then there's Teague. Then there's Dennis Schroeder. And it's Muscala in at the center position. Brewer's shot is off. So it's Atlanta now. They'll be playing host to Chicago for their next game. That game marks the first half of a quick 2-game homestand. Here's Terry. That's good. Enzo Howard with the assist. Terry's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for Houston. And now we'll get a perspective here on the hustle game, how it's been going for Houston.
Boy, their hounding, harassing effort at the defensive end, very impressive. And they forced quite a few turnovers as a result.
Yeah, and another thing, they've created a lot of turnovers, but they've also been able to convert when they've gotten down in transition.
Here's Bazemore. The 3-ball. Cannot hit. And Houston the other way now.
Just not much success when it comes to shooting.
Out of bounds, Atlanta will take possession. So for the Rockets, Josh Smith, he's checked in for Capella. Ariza comes in for Corey Brewer. And James Harden subbed in for Jason Terry. Al Horford, he's checked in for the Hawks. Korver comes in for Teague. Now here's Schroeder. Outside Korver. 5 to shoot. He kicks to Schroeder. Down low. Here's Millsap. Lays it up and banks it in.
They are not rotating nearly quickly enough on defense down low. Got to get quicker there.
Just no resistance on the interior.
Beverly with the ball. He's guarded by Schroeder. It's tipped. Howard, the pass to Smith. Howard dishes to Harden. And he goes in for the dunk.
Oh, my goodness. He's just getting nasty on him now. Wow.
Yeah, now that they've built up a lead, this is when he really breaks out those incredible slick moves.
Man, like a Ginsu knife, just slicing and dicing.
And that last replay courtesy of Kia. All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Hi, guys. I had a chance to find out what Mike Budenholzer was discussing with his guys. He told them that they simply have to step up, saying if we don't make a move now, it's going to be too late. Give them everything you've got. Kevin?
Always great to hear from you, Doris. Last quarter of play, about 2 minutes in now. Corver against Harden. Millsap down low. The Rockets pull it in. Smith's got his 5th rebound in this one. It's Harden with the drive. When you think of James Harden, you don't think much about his athleticism. His strength, though, is exceptional for his position.
Yeah, I think that's his greatest attribute. His ball handling's good, but it's his strength. He's able to run through contact.
James Harden.
Free throw good. James Harden.
And guys, Josh Smith, an interesting blend of talents. A good defender, great finisher around the rim. Also an underrated passer at times for a big man.
Schroeder kicks it to Bazemore. Millsap with it. He's picked up by Ariza. Millsap passes to Corver. Rebound by Smith.
Ill-advised shot there, Clark.
Yeah, exactly. That was lower than low percentage.
Josh Smith, kind of a tweener. He's spent some time at power forward. Clark, he's spent some time at small forward. He's handled the ball. He's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, he is, but I think he's best, Kevin, working inside. He's gotten stronger. He's worked on his post game, and I think as time has passed, he's settled in as a full-time power forward. At least that's where he should settle into.
Now, here's Schroeder. They get a hand on it. Fades and shoots. Horford, no luck. Houston leading by 17. Here's Beverly. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2. Look at his contract, and Kyle Korver is a steal, Clark, at 4 years and $24 million.
Yeah, but he's a guy not only who can shoot it, clearly, but a good team defender as well. I think he's a really solid, complete player and a pro's pro in terms of the locker room.
Yeah, seems when he's on the floor, the Hawks a different team offensively.
No question.
And Korver, not the longest or the most athletic, but he's disciplined and also moves his feet well. So they talk about staying on a string defensively. He's always attentive and engaged.
Now here's Harden. Launches it. That is good.
Not his best game, but they're still getting it done collectively.
Atlanta's gotten off to an 0-for-2 start from downtown here in the 4th quarter.
And Korver, a guy who'll set a hard screen, scrap for rebounds. He's come from a basketball family. You can sense, though, his love for the game. He wants to do the little things now that help you win, and that's one reason why he was an all-star a season ago.
Bazemore gets the bucket.
It really does make the game easy for your teammates when you can lead them to the rim that well with the pass.
Well, you have to love the energy and the effort given every night by Kent Bazemore, hustling for loose balls. Greg, a lot like you, actually. Runs the floor like a tornado, can handle the ball, the consummate role player.
He really is. And you know, you have to have guys who can be effective without the basketball. Kevin, there's only one out there.
Right.
And you're going to have 5 guys, so you need other areas of the game to be effective. And he focuses on the defense, the rebounding, all those little things that add up to victories.
Jeff Teague, he's checked in for Dennis Schroeder. Tries to keep it alive. Millsap with the steal. And that one goes out of bounds. Pass touched by Teague.
We've seen a lot of silly plays like that out of them today. Just way too many.
Rockets leading by 20.
And, you know, going back to Kent Bazemore, he was not a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Was solid and unspectacular in college. Entered the NBA as an undrafted free agent. Exceeded everybody's expectations. Not too much congestion in the lane. I think he could have gotten a better shot that time, no question.
Harden inside the three-point line. The Rockets again can't hit.
He's been anything but his usual self this quarter. It's actually been ugly to see.
And the basket is good. Got it to go through on the contact, so a free throw coming up. A great opportunity for a three-point play. Houston, a whole new 5 on the floor. Atlanta also making some changes here. Mike Scott's checked in for Horford. Cephalosha comes in for Kent Bazemore. Hardaway is subbed in for Kyle Korver.
And getting back to Kent Bazemore, I mean, he will always have a role in this league because of his defense and his positive attitude. He's the kind of guy who gets counted out early and goes on to have a legitimate 10-year NBA career. And this is what they wanted. I mean, to announce their presence in this matchup with authority, very decisive. It can definitely be considered a statement win for the Rockets.
You're right there, Steve. And one area that stands out that we've seen tonight from them, Clark, their aggressiveness in getting steals, something I know that you really value yourself.
Well, it deflates the opposition when you can be pesky defensively, and then it sparks your offense, and that's what happened for them. When you have the type of effort we saw tonight, it's hard to overcome that kind of defensive pressure.
And so taking a look at their record, a nice milestone they'll be picking up tonight. 30 wins on the year now.
And regaining their momentum against a team that had already beaten them once this year. This win makes it a 1-1 tie in their best-of-3 season series against the Hawks.
I mean, when you look at the stats, you'll see just how dominant a game this was for James Harden. He was doing everything right, and the points came in bunches. Definitely had the hot hand.
Mike Muscala is checked in for Atlanta. Dennis Schroeder comes in for Jeff Teague.
I mean, that's a tough break for the D. I mean, he took the hit and drew the whistle.
Yeah, but he was late to get there, Greg, so the referee couldn't give him a free pass on that one.
Scott hits them both. This could get even more out of hand if they continue to put up points.
Wow, Kevin, what a performance we are seeing. And that's just a little more for these fans to cheer about as they get ready to celebrate a W.
Well, let the party start. The celebration begins, and they're going to let their guys hear it.
Here's Muscala. And once again off the mark by Atlanta. And guys, they can just sit on the ball here if they want to.
Sure can, because they've earned the win.
Here's Terry, and it's blocked by Scott. Here's Schroeder, and that shot misses everything. Air ball on the 3. Here's Lawson. Good.
No hesitation at all right there. Just right up against a much bigger defender.
Man, and I love that fearlessness, that aggressive attitude. Boy, I love it.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Welcome back, Ernie Johnson, along with Shaq and Kenny the Jet. Let's quickly move forward now to the presentation of our Jordan Player of the Game, James Harden. He simply had a dominant third quarter, and it quickly became apparent he wanted to exert his control over the tempo of the game. What are your thoughts, Shaq, on his game tonight?
I don't know if there's a fan base that loves their star more than this guy. Wow. You get jealous. He feeds off that support. Once they got behind him, he became unstoppable, man.
That was the James Harden we've come to know and love. A player that brings nothing but fear to players that have to guard him. I've said this for a while now. He's the best one-on-one player in the NBA. And even if it's not a one-on-one situation, even if you throw the kitchen sink at him, he still gets the job done. It's the confidence, the drive, and the spirit that makes James Harden a superstar.
And that wraps things up, folks. Thanks for joining us. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the rest of the 2K Sports crew, I'm Ernie Johnson. Good night, everybody.